Alright, welcome back traders. This is Mark Soberman for the Ultimate Swing Trader. In this video I wanted to go over stock and options trading. So I know I've got a lot of people out there who do some stock and options trades, and that's what this video is going to be all about. A couple of the real key points here to remember is on the Ultimate Swing Trader, you're talking literally to review a symbol, a stock symbol, probably about 5 seconds, really as much time as it takes to bring up the data into your charting platform is all it takes. This is definitely something where you should only be spending just a few minutes per night, and that's it. There's no day trading involved. There's no having to monitor the markets throughout the day. There's certainly, you're not trying to just scalp out very small amounts of profits. I mean, we're going for pretty good sized swing moves, and I'm going to take you through some of the stock symbols and ETFs that have been in our master trade list for a while. There's quite a bit more than what I'll show you today, but just to kind of give you an idea of just how easy it is to trade the methodology, because you're basically trading what you see on the screen. And the key is that the place your trades, whether it's a stock trade or you're going to buy a call option or a put option, is literally just the time that it takes to, one, look at the chart, and then two, whatever time it takes to place that trade. And even better, most nights on most of the symbols, you'll have nothing you need to do other than just to see if there's a new setup or any other change to your stop, and that's it. So that's a real key. You know, you have to ask yourself when you buy a trading system, even if it looks good, is it something that you can execute upon? Is it something you have the time to trade? I mean, I can't tell you how often I've been in that same situation where something looks really good and then I realize, you know what, this just doesn't fit my schedule or the time that I have to be able to commit to it. With the UST, literally, and we do mean it when we say 10 minutes a day and you're done, that is really all it should take, if not less, on certain nights. So let's take a look. This is a stock called NetLogic. It has reasonably decent volume, typically 1 to 2 million shares a day. This is on a 130-minute chart. The main time frames we use on stocks are 30, 60, and 130 typically. Absolutely no optimization, no curve fitting. Anything I show you here, you're going to see me just change the symbols. I'm not going to go ahead and just try to somehow make it look better than the reality. But you can see back here a couple months ago, this is on a 130-minute chart. So throughout here, this is a number of days that are going by. So you can imagine it's very, very quick if this is in your hot list to see if you've got a trade. But a little bit ago, we had a trade to go long here at 25.76, and we had one target, two targets, and a third target, and all of those were hit on the way up. So you can think about how you would have done on a trade like this. You would have made, of course, in this one, a 25% move up to here. $5, obviously, you're about 25%, and then all the way up to $7.50 on a $25 trade before even considering any type of margin. And certainly, if you're trading options, you can get a good idea. But what if I wanted to go on a quicker time frame, such as a 30-minute? See how easy I do this? 30 minutes, same exact market. And notice the difference. On the 130-minute, we didn't see any kind of short setting up yet, but we've actually just in this month, in May, had a short set up here. At 30.35, we hit the first target, which was almost $2, and the second target, which is a $4 move in 1 to 3 days. So think about how your put option would score on this kind of move. And when you had the trade set up, you had all this already. You knew your target 1, your target 2, and your target 3. And we know when we get to target 1, our stop goes to break even. If we get to target 2, we may be done with the trade. Or if we're going for target 3, we obviously have our stop already locking in profit. Right now, we're actually on a short, a second short, and we're short from 28.77, and we got really close. It looks like we may have just about, we hit target 1 so far. So now I've got my stop at break even, which is getting pretty close. It might even actually end up hitting. But that's a good little move on a same day, basically, on any TL. Now let's take a look at maybe a more well-known stock, obviously Amazon.com. Again, on a 30-minute. Notice how I'm still not changing anything on settings. Okay, I bring the stock up. Back here on the close here on April 29th, you'd have had this set up to go short here, a $3.78 move, $7 basically, and then a little bit over $10 down to the third target. 1 to 3 days to get to the second target, 5 days to get to the last target. And right now we've got a brand new short that hasn't triggered yet today, but it could in the days ahead. We'll see. It may not. Some setups will end up going back up and not trigger, and we may end up getting a long setup. But right now what we do is any trade when this directional indicator here, we call this directional indicator, the bigger line, is above the trend lines, we only take the short direction. When it's below, like over here, if we had a setup, we would only take the buy direction. You'll see my calculator will calculate both a buy and a sell, but we only take it in the direction of the predominant trend as determined by the UST. Now, how easy can I slow it down and go for much bigger swings? Just like that, 130 minute. Now, you see the short trade here never triggered, but this nice long trade went $8, and then even up to the second target not that long ago, right? This took a few weeks on this move. That's a $16 move there. I think you get the idea how you can kind of determine like what sort of frequency of trade you want. Here's Autodesk, another good one to trade. This is on a 130-minute chart. You can see really long, big, sustained move that we had recently. But I could slow that down, or I should say speed it up, and look at a 60-minute chart. And right now I'm actually just about triggering on a short trade, but probably if we scroll back a bit here, we would see probably coming off of a long trade. And there was your long trade. So, and even more, some things you'll learn about what we call a directional bounce. This was a second long trade here that's set up. We'll see if we had another one. Now, that'll be those two trades plus this new short. But if I wanted to make it even faster, to have a little more frequency, we can go down as low as a 30-minute. I don't like to go any quicker than that because, again, I just want to be very comfortable trading this and have just the best setups possible with the highest odds. You can see the nice short trade here and a new short trade that's setting up as of today, hasn't triggered as of yet. A lot of you like ETFs. Well, absolutely, you can trade ETFs. Here's the iShares of the microcap index. You couldn't have called it any better, right? We actually had this set up on May 5th. You guys may remember May 6th, what happened. Well, this isn't going to happen all the time when you go through all the targets in one day, but it's a perfect setup. And actually, at night when the market closed is when you had this setup. We didn't know this was going to happen the next day, of course, but the odds were in our favor based upon the setup that we were going to get a move lower. Right now, we've got a buy setup that has not triggered. It's got quite a ways to go before getting up here on a buy setup, but you get real nice frequency. And like I said, again, you could slow it down considerably and get some bigger moves. You can see this was a much more sustained move up here that we had, dating back actually into late February. Now, if you like the ultra, meaning the ones that have more leverage, I mean, definitely. Here's a UWM, which is the Russell 2000, and this one is going to be on 2-to-1. So you get some really nice leverage here, and you get this great move up here. Right now, we don't have a new setup, but one could be forming here soon. But if I wanted to see more frequency, I could always just knock it back to like a 30-minute. And sure enough, we had that same perfect short trade. And we don't really have a setup right now, but we will have one probably forming soon because this directional indicator is inside the trend lines. That means it's getting ready over the next few days, more than likely, to have a setup. But you can see that. And you can trade things like the microcaps, the ultra gold, oil, S&P 500, the ETFs on the Dow. As long as there's good movement and good swings with volume, these are very tradable. I mean, look, 5 million shares today. So these pro shares are very, very tradable, and certainly on a swing trading basis. So a lot of ways you can go. Netflix is maybe a stock a lot of you know. I mean, it's a very popular one for people who are active trading or day trading. So you get a lot of volume. Here's on a 30-minute. I could go down to a 130-minute to slow it down, and wow, you can see a pretty incredible sustained move here. $8, $16, $24. This is a longer move, but a $24 move on the time on a stock that was $60, pretty impressive return overall. And the key thing is you'll always know your exact entry and exit. If a trade doesn't go our way, it doesn't go our way. We always have a predetermined place to get out. So that's just a handful of stocks and ETFs that you can trade. The great thing is you can enter each evening with like a hot list of 10 stocks or ETFs, scroll through them really quick like this. Most nights you'll have no work to do at all. When you do have a little bit of work to do, that's a pretty fun thing because it means placing a new trade or raising up a stop and locking in some profits, whatever the case may be. And you'll notice that we use the exact same methodology that we use in Forex, and that shows you just how robust the methodology is, that we can use the same settings, the same approach, the same 10 minutes a day or less, and still have very, very similar outcomes to Forex and even futures, which I'll cover in another video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us.